Let me draw your attention towards this topic of today's evening debate competition. An unhealthy paradigm shift in the history of Naga political movement has emerged in today's age. It's diverging the movement's true nature. From its advent and emergence in the year 1918, the Naga National or political movement has taken a myriad of changes and transformations. It has been more than 10 decades of political crusade and struggles, where Nagas have been either forced or intimidated to remain unsuccessful in our struggle for one people, one nation. In the process, the Naga family has been divided by forces seen and unseen, leaving it to be fragmented over and over again. The generation today is shambles, confusion, and chaos. Today, an unhealthy paradigm shift in the history of our Naga national or political movement has emerged, where we can visibly notice that the movement's true nature is being diverged from the visions of our forefathers, who laid the foundation more than 10 decades ago, a vision to allow Nagas to be independent as they have always been, to live and grow together as one Naga nation, and to be free from being dominated by any outside forces. History has undoubtedly witnesses an unhealthy paradigm shift. Unhealthy because we are divided like never before. Unhealthy because unity seems to have extinct from the hearts of our Nagas. Unhealthy because of the shift that has been happening since the declaration of Naga independence on August 14, 1947 by the President of Naga National Council. Until today's age, which we anticipated to be bringing Nagas together as one people, one nation, has drastically failed, or what we are supposed to believe. The changes, transition, and transformation that was supposed to be healthy for the Nagas as one family has somewhere devastatingly gone wrong. Who is or are responsible for all the hazardous divides? Are individuals asking this difficult question to themselves and to the leaders who are supposed to be accountable to the Nagas across borders or barriers? Or are we only sitting comfortably in our distributed judgmental chairs and guarding a plain eye to the ruins of the Nagas, as we as a family crumble down day by day and year by year? When we see that our society is being silently divided and shattered mercilessly day in and day out because we are too blinded by our greed and selfishness, are we to emerge in ourselves that we cannot recognize that it is our responsibility, each one of us as individuals, to study and discern where we are going right and where we are going wrong, so that we may keep the wisdom of why our movement began. Thus, DNSU believes that having a debate on this to throw light on the minds of the younger generation, as well as the elders, and each one will be ignited with a sense of responsibility towards the unity and progress of the Nagas as one people and one nation. It would also be a meaningful platform to highlight the history of Naga national and political movement, because many of the student community or the generation of today are ignorant of our history, and we believe it must be known by every Naga. We believe that this debate and discussion will be a sample of how much we have to contribute and work towards bringing Nagas together as a family and learning to practice forgiveness.
We have lots of people, we have lots of students, but very few of you got an opportunity to be part of this program. We are our society, are very complex by nature. What I'm trying to express is for all of us who is attending this program, all of us will be enlightened and will get to, will grab the knowledge just like those seeds who is sown in a soil where it bear fruits. I personally do not know. I feel that this is a very important platform which is organized by Dimapur Naga Students Union, Dimapur Naga Students Union, and it is my prayer that the same kind of activities were followed by other federal communities and some political bodies of the Nagas particularly in order to educate our young Naga students. And I feel that this kind of debate and solution will really help us know our roots. My dear student friends, in front of my seniors, I will not express much, but taking this opportunity, let me remind all of us that Nagas are not confused people. We have a very distinct and clear history, where all of us today we feel that we are confused. But let me remind all of us, we are not confused people. Our history is very clear. My dear friends, I feel very sorry to say this, but today in our society, most of our students, not all, but most of our students are misleading the younger generation, particularly the youth. And I feel very sad and I feel very sorry. So what I'm trying to say is, my dear friends, it is time for us to come together. I feel that youth and students community can able to come together. And no matter what, we have to able to come together. And we should come together. And only through the forces of the youth, we can able to unite one another. Because I feel very less for all our children. I feel very sad. Taking advantage of this time, I hope our media friends are here. It will be very kind of you if you can give out this in your local galleries tomorrow, as well as for your virtual communication. To honor Naga Independence Day, Naga Students Federation has directed all the fraternity members of NSF and its sub-unit bodies to honor and observe Naga Independence Day on 14th of August. Naga Students Federation also would like to appeal to all the Naga people, particularly the churches, to particularly pray for unity and healing of the Nagas on 14th of August, which falls on Sunday. We also would like to appeal to all the Naga citizens across the globe to observe Naga Independence Day on 14th of August. Once again, I congratulate the DNSU, and it is my prayer that we will have a purposeful and meaningful debate session. May God bless all of us for the healing and glory of the Amen.
There's a voice inside my head saying, you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every move I'm making is lost with no direction. My faith
Dimapur Naga Students Union, Miss Sorori Priscilla Rising, Dimapur Students Union, Dimapur. For the motion, we have Mr. K.V. Vilu from the Pomai Students Union, Dimapur, Mr. Dimapur Naga Students Union, Mr. Rukawazo Weta Chakasam Student Union, Dimapur, Miss Manine Alice, Mao Students Union, Dimapur, Mr. Rambam Haning, Zilian Students Union, Dimapur, Mr. Perchur Tupipor, Western Poetry Students Union, Dimapur. And please bear in mind, if there is any misbehaving or colonial attitude from the respondent from the audience side representing the respective student union, your representative will receive a -point. So you can cheer, you can scream, but please make sure that we maintain the decorum. So I hope that is clear, right? Yes. So on that note, may I also once again be expressing this moment of gratitude to our respective judges as my students union department will start, after which the against Mr. Rebuttals. So ladies and gentlemen, all the best.
Good evening, Mr. President, and this good evening, ladies and gentlemen, respected judges, my fellow speakers, delegates, and to all the members present at this meeting. I am Mr. K.V. Willow from the Morung Group, who is speaking on the topic an unhealthy paradigm shift in the history of Naga political movement has emerged in today's age. It's diverging the movement's true nature. Well, it's crystal clear that from the Naga history, the main goal of Naga movement has been the integrations of Naga inhabited areas of India and Myanmar. Before coming to the point, let us all see the contemporary of our Naga society now. Let me just say something about the political conditions of our Naga society at present. Unfortunately, many of our Nagas are backsliding from the Naga national cause. They do not want to join the movement. Many educated Nagas do not want to talk about the Naga national movement. They do not want to contribute anything to sustain the movement. They do not want to sacrifice themselves, their relatives, their tribes for the greater cause of Naga nation. They seem to be quite satisfied with the provision of India that meets their daily basic needs, and whoever disturbs this provision is condemned. In fact, many of our Naga leaders are not serious enough to think for the younger generations. They are short-sighted. What will happen after 10 or 20 years, we do not know. Sadly, even our Naga nationalism is on the verge of collapse. Many of our Nagas were blinded by materialism. They worship wealth as their god, and they believe that the economic development is a solution to all the problems. So these are the facts that's happening to our Naga society at present. Now, coming to the point, an unhealthy paradigm shift in the history of Naga political movement has emerged in today's age. It's diverging the movement's true nature. Yes. How? And why? Because, firstly, factionalism. Traces back the Naga history, we all came to know that our Naga territories were divided by the policy of Britishers. And we know that our Naga, we have our own unique history, identity, culture, and traditions different from India. As a result, the Naga national movement started to work for Naga nation, for a greater Nagaland, comprising all the Naga inhabited areas, irrespective in India and Western Burma. And in fact, the history is clear that many Naga brothers and sisters have struggled, lost their families, and sacrifices their life for the Naga homeland. And we Nagas, the Nagas, work together under one umbrella for more than 10 decades. But now, what happened? Now let us see what happened to our society. In fact, we are all divided now. We are fragmented. Even the Naga nationalism, the Naga national movements were divided by the policy of Indian government. Now there is full of division in our society. There is no more unity like before. And we don't protect our identity anymore. Now we among Nagas, we have created an enemy. Now we fear among ourselves. We don't fight for our homeland anymore. Rather, we fight among ourselves. We kill our own brothers and started fighting for our own personal benefits. Now we, the Naga society, the people, are in a place where to go, where not to, where to follow and where not to. Secondly, tribalism. In the past years, the Naga people were praised for the egalitarian or equality and friendly mentality. They were considered as to be open-minded and fun-loving people. Community spirit was found in religious, social, economical, and political activities. However, nothing remains static. Everything changes. Now, at present, the sad reality is that we Nagas are enslaving ourselves to this dominating spirit of one tribe over another on tribal lines. The present social scenario is that the major tribe or the so-called forward tribe or the advanced tribe receive more benefits and opportunities, politically, socially, and economically. Whereas the other tribes, the remaining tribes, are neglected. And we Nagas, we are contending against each other for power and position around ways, and thus poisoning our own society. We do not want to work under someone's tribe leaders anymore, because there is a hatred. And tribalisms are deep-rooted in our Naga society. And today, we Nagas, we have developed such a kind of nepotism. For instance, like favoring only the relatives or the personal close friends to fill the vacancies, wherever it may be, private organizations or government sectors or offices, etc. Lastly, I would like to conclude by saying, Nagas are one. We all came from one ancestor. We are all Nagas by blood. We cannot deny the fact. The truth is true. Even though if we try to hide our identity, the truth is true and the truth will be revealed by itself. The Bible from the book of 1 John 4:20 says, if anyone says, I love God, but hate his brother, he is a liar. For he does not love his brother whom he has seen, but cannot love God whom he has not seen. So spread love, my dear Naga brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Hello, Chair. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, respected judges, President and colleague of Dimapur Naga Students Union, dignitaries, brothers and sisters from different colleges, and the congregation present here. I myself, Dr. Kulu, representing the against group. Before I proceed with my speech, I would like to say something that is, I have a tendency that when I started speaking, I used to hype up. So please excuse me that, don't think that I'm being aggressive. Okay, coming back to the topic, it is given as an unhealthy paradigm shift in the history of Naga political movement has emerged in today's age. It's diverging the movement's true nature. Before going to the diverging of movement's true nature, let me talk about unhealthy paradigm shift. There is no such thing as unhealthy or healthy paradigm shift, to be precise. Until and unless it is an enemy, until and unless we know the conclusion, we cannot decide it is unhealthy or healthy. We have to be clear about it. there is no such thing as unhealthy or healthy in any paradigm shift. Secondly, coming to the point, I strongly disagree with assessment and unhealthy paradigm shift in the history of Naga political movement has emerged in today's age. It is diverging the movement's nature. No, it is not. Though we may be in a stagnant situation, we are not averted from our true nature. Let us see the historical of Nagas. India in itself has accepted that India has a history and unique cultural rights. Is not it? So how can we say that it has diverged? Our first movement was started in the year 1929, looking back in the history of Naga. A memorandum was submitted to the Simon Commission, but then in 1929, saying that Nagas should not be included in the Indian subcontinent during the British time. However, looking back, in the 1947, Nagas were integrated in the Indian territory. That was the turning point when our Naga national movement started. Because of that point, NNC was formed in the year 1956. And from there, our movement has started. See, the present situation, there's many groups are emerging. Our opponent may say that because of the emerging of various groups, we the Nagas are divided. No, let me say this. India didn't get freedom because of one person. Mahatma Gandhi believed was non-violence. Subhash Chandra Bose was violence. And there was Bhagat Singh. There was Baba Gangadhar Tilak. They together moved from different regions. And because of that, India got independence. It is not because of Mahatma Gandhi alone. Likewise, coming back to our own people, every group has as person differs by looks, every mindset is different. Our way of thinking, our perception is different. So our ideology and the method we adopt is different. But in the end, what is our goal? What is our objective? That is the better future of we the Nagas in general, is not it? So how can we say that because of paradigm shift, our movement has diverted from its true nature? It is still the same. When we look back to 1966, the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi and Dr. Sir and NCHN, Kaba's guy, they had a different discussion. They had an agreement. There was an agreement between them. Indira Gandhi gave the option that she will give everything to the Nagas except sovereignty. But Kaba's guy denied it. He said, we will not take anything except sovereignty. If Kaba's guy succumbed to the battle of war, we the Nagas would have been the slaves of India. We are free people. Even during the British time, we the Nagas were free people. We believe we are free people. We was not an Indian. We was forcefully integrated in India. Our movement is true. It is still. Whoever brings the solution as a Nagas, we are going to accept that. Why? Because even though there are different groups, they are fighting for one issue. That is better future for we the Nagas. As I've been saying, wrong has not been in one day. As every nation, India struggled for more than 100 years under the British time to get independence. We the Nagas, it's just been 25 years if we go back to 1997. We the Nagas are impatient for sovereignty. Yes, to be free. We are free people. We the Nagas believe that we are free people. The land where we have been is ours, not given by the Indian. That is what our belief, that is what our tradition. But then, many societies are coming forward saying that we need solution as soon as possible. But we need to be patient. Since the society is impatient, it doesn't mean that it is diverted its nature. I should say that is a blessing. It is not creating division between us, but in fact, strengthening our movement. If there was one president who have had a discussion with the Indian would have taken us for granted. But because of the interference of many groups, many organizations in the society, India has accepted that Nagas are unique, and because of that, the agreement is still going on. Because of that, the discussion is still going on. In conclusion, I will say this: Naga Political Movement is progressing from darkness to light. It is not diverting to different nature. It is still true to its nature. And I strongly affirm that one day, Nagas will be free from the shackles of the Indian. Thank you. Good morning.
Next, motion Mr. V.C. Metro Nami from Naga Political Students Union.
Greetings to you all. Utmost respect to our moderator, esteemed panel of judges, timekeeper, my fellow participants, friends from the media, and ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, let me make myself very clear that Nagas, from time immemorial, we were never under any outside forces. Prior to Indian independence in 1947, Nagas were largely sovereign, even though some of our territories were occupied by the Britishers. However, there is no written treaty where Nagas surrendered our rights and our land to the Britishers. The Naga Political Movement did not begin on the eve of Indian independence, as claimed by many Indian writers. It began with the formation of Naga Club in 1918, which submitted a memorandum to the Simon Commission in 1929, stating that Nagas would not join the Indian Union, as Nagas are a separate entity. The memorandum also stated, "Leave us alone to determine for ourselves as in ancient times." This line clearly summarizes that we were free and we have every sovereign right to be free. Secondly, Fizo was not the founder of the Naga Political Movement. However, he played a significant role, as it was under his leadership where the Naga Political Movement reached its peak. On July 19, 1947, our NNC leaders met Mahatma Gandhiji in Bhangi, Basti, in Delhi, where Gandhiji assured that Nagas have every right to be independent. And with the assurance from Mahatma Gandhi, our leaders declared independence on 14 August 1947. Thirdly, our declaration of independence was ignored by the government of India, and as such, our NNC leaders conducted a plebiscite in 1951, where 99.9% of the Nagas voted in favor of independence. Our leaders and our people boycotted the first general election, 1952 general election. However, the government of India responded to this plebiscite by committing atrocities, rapes, murders, burning of houses, fields, villages. These are all inked in the book, the Naga Saga, which is authored by Kaka Iralu, which is already banned by the government of India. The first instance of internal problem in the Naga national movement began with the formation of the revolutionary government in the 1960s, a faction which was formed opposing the NNC, which is very sad and unfortunate. This was the first instance where outside forces manipulated and created divisions. The creation of Nagaland state in 1963 could not secure any desired peace as the conflict continued. It was only through the Naga Peace Mission initiated by the church which led to the signing of Shillong Accord in 1975. However, the Shillong Accord was the first instance of major split in NNC, where several NNC leaders quitted the NNC on the grounds that the Shillong Accord agreed to accept the Constitution of India. However, during this phase, our Naga political movement was not handled properly due to mistrust and tribalism. And as such, the NSCN, which was formed in 1980s, further split it into two. That is the NSCN-IM and NSCN-K, which signed ceasefire agreement with the government of India in 1997 and 2001. Sadly, after that, our political movement has taken a different turn, in the sense that today, rapid taxation, killing, kidnapping, intimidation in the name of nationalism, this has spoiled the image of our Naga political movement. Our Naga political movement has taken a U-turn as our leaders have become greedy for money and power, and outside forces have started manipulating and dividing us. And as such, we have seen multiple factions popping up, as we Nagas are to blame ourselves. Today, our leaders have accumulated a huge amount of wealth, have started building luxurious building and living luxury lives. I want to ask my opponent, does building by accumulating wealth and building luxury life, does it mean that is this because of an ideological difference, or is this a healthy parenting? We have divided, and then so much that today we have two framework agreements. We have two agreements. Framework agreement with the NSCN-IM and the agreed position of the 7th NNPG. Today, those people who condemned the Shillong Accord of 1975 and labeled the signatories of Shillong Accord as traitors are demanding for a separate flag and constitution within the framework of Indian Union, which is also claimed to be very unlikely. It is very saddening for someone like me, who comes from a family where my grandparents and my relatives, they dedicated their entire life for our Naga political movement. One of my relatives and my granddad, late Zasibito Nagi, who was the first Naga martyr, sacrificed his life for our Naga cause. And I'm sure the feeling will be mutual for everyone present here who have lost family members and relatives for our Naga people. Today, if we are to keep the movement healthy, let us go back to the memorandum which our people submitted to the Simon Commission, particularly that line, leave us alone to determine for ourselves as in the ancient times. Today, our Naga people should avoid piecemeal solution at all costs, because piecemeal solutions have always proved to be harmful. We should avoid temporary solution, which will last only for 50 decades. Naga solution should be inclusive of all Nagas, because all Naga tribes have played a significant role in the Naga political movement. It cannot be Nagaland-centric, because Naga nation exceeds the Nagaland state boundaries. Today, I would like to conclude that we all need to live together as brothers, or we will all perish together as fools. We have lost the true objective of our movement. Let us not give up on ourselves, but keep the call alive and pursue it. Thank you, Tuknali.
For a guest, Mr. Libong Wali from Hr Students Union, Dimapur.
Thank you, moderator, for the floor. Respected chairperson, most honorable panel of judges, and my dear fellow countrymen. I am Libong Wali, and I stand here today as a voice of many like-minded Nagas in this hour of confusion. With firm conviction, I discard the motion, and I shall provide further clarification towards it. First of all, it would be improper to label the movement by saying that there has emerged an unhealthy shift in the history of the Naga nationalism in present day. Since it has been existing from the very initial stage, since the formation of the Naga Club in 1918 and the submission of the memorandum to the Senate Commission in 1939, there were to be signatories of the colonial government which comprised only 5 to 6 tribes. There was no equal representation of the Nagas. There was no unanimity of the Nagas. However, in 1946, the Naga National Council was established in order to stand for the solidarity of the Nagas, to stand for complete political autonomy of the Nagas, and to stand for unification of all the Nagas. However, the NSC took twists and turns, and for reasons best known to them, began to split, starting from 1968, with the formation of the revolutionary government of Nagaland, and then with the formation of the NSCN in the 1980s, and the list goes on. And as a result, there was multiple assassinations. There were violent conflict with the Indian armed forces and among themselves whenever they met. Blood flowed red like river in our all Naga brothers and sisters in our own soil. This was a very unhealthy shift in the Naga national movement in the annals of the Naga history that has ever happened. That has never happened until the 1950s. However, at such a juncture, not being able to withstand such painful sight, the Naga Students Federation, the Naga Mothers Association, the Naga People's Movement for Human Rights took the bold step and began to speak against the atrocities of the Indian armed forces, and also encouraged the Nagas to speak out and tell the world about the atrocities of the Indian armed forces against our Naga brothers and sisters. As a result, the NSNM got admitted into the United Nations Unrepresented Nations People's Organization on 23rd of January 1993. And our movement, our fight, our Naga national movement got international attention, and the Indian government signed the ceasefire agreement in 1997. As a result, peace prevailed and fresh talks have started. Because of the efforts of the NSF, because of the efforts of the NMA, because of the efforts of the Naga People's Movement for Human Rights and some other civil society organizations, there is peace in the land today. We went from war to peace, from violence to harmony, and this is what I call a healthy and a historic event in the history of the Naga national movement. Secondly, as time goes by, new Naga nationalist political groups emerged, and as a result, new clashes started. At such a juncture, the Forum for Naga Reconciliation on the 13th of June 2009 called upon our Naga nationalist leaders, and they signed an agreement by S.S. Kaplan, Isaac Chichisu, and S. Sinya. The signatories to the agreement committed before God that they will work for reconciliation, they will forgive each other, and they will work together for peace, harmony, with love, interest, and mutual respect. And this is what I call another historic and healthy event in the history of the Naga national movement. Thirdly, we say that people, Naga brothers, are divided into the likes of tribes, and I totally agree with that we belong to different tribes, but that is not nature to which and where we are born to. And we cannot do away with that is impossible to make it a sin. However, we must be more realistic. We must respect each other and stand together as Nagas. People say there are differences, but I would rather call it diversity. And there is beauty in diversity. There is unity in diversity. And in order to achieve the goal of one people, one destiny, the global Naga Forum are working hard in order to spread awareness and to unite the people under one umbrella with the theme of one people, one destiny. The latest one people solidarity work is began for Koima and concluded at Sanapati on 28th to 29th of July 2022. This is not a sign of the Naga national movement going from strength to strength in terms of solidarity and uniting the people. It's the process of uniting the people and helping for you change your mindset, my brothers. Fourthly, because of all the efforts of these organizations, there is peace in our land, and we have conquered our devil and we can live peacefully. And as a result, fresh talks have started. And however, the movement is still going on the right track and it is through its nature. That is complete political autonomy for the Nagas and honorable solution. What is honorable for the Nagas? And honorable for the Nagas would be a national flag under which we can all stand together with pride and keep our hands on our chest and sing our national anthem. And we are people of oneness. The Constitution is a necessity of a country to run its common and friends for the Nagas. Integration will come about, all these three will come about when a solution arrives, because it is the middle part of the uniqueness of the Nagas and the government of India as in the uniqueness of and situation of the Naga history. When Naga was the Prime Minister of India on the 11th of July 2002 in Amsterdam, followed by Dr. Manmohan Singh said outside solution of the Constitution should be outside the Constitution of India. And today the most honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi, have took the bold step in order to sign the framework agreement on 3rd August 2015. They have recognized the uniqueness of the Naga history. That means we Naga are free people and we were never conquered by any forces. The framework agreement, anybody who has a dictionary and knows how to read and write should understand that it's just a frame, not a final solution. It's just like the proverb says, the Chinese proverb says, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step at a time. It is a step towards a final solution rather than a final solution. Don't be a bridge. Don't be a wall. Be a bridge. For the wall that divides and the bridge that unites are both in our hearts. We are Nagas. We are Nagas. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. And we shall overcome. Kukdarin.
I, representing Bethesda Students Union, to speak for the motion and unlimited partnership in the history of Naga Political Movement has emerged into this age. It's diverging the movements through nature. At the outset, I would like to say that Nagas are not anti-Indians. We do not hate Indians. In fact, we are trying our best. We are trying to fight against the policies which are trying to eradicate our identity. The Naga Political Movement started after the First World War, with the Naga Corps returned with a sense of common identity and culture, and formed the Naga Club in 1980. An excerpt from the book Peace and Democracy in South Asia, and I quote, having failed to prevent the partition of British India into India and Pakistan, the Indian nationalist elite aspired to be a strong Indian nation. With the policy of terror and steel, they ensured that the indigenous community of Northeast get assimilated into the Indian state. However, Nagas resisted at first on the basis of their unique, distinct cultural identity. They, at first peacefully, but with the increase in state repressions, they took up arms. Unquote. My dear friends, I'm happy that my brother, our representative has said that talk about the representative, the Simon Commission by the Naga Club on 10 January 1929. He said that not every club were represented, not every tribe were represented, but I urge my brothers, please go and read through the letters submitted to the Simon Commission. I would have read out everything, but due to the paucity of time, I cannot do that. The sad reality of our journey as a nation is that when the Naga National Council was formed, there was no iota of doubt and differences amongst the Nagas. When the Naga independence was declared on 14 August 1947, no mistrust amongst us. And when the plebiscite was held on 16 May 1951, every Nagas came together in unison and voted for a full autonomy or full independence. Now we have more than 16 tribes. Through the previous years, we have seen the split of Naga National Council to the Naga Revolutionary Government, to NNC, Naga National Socialist Council in 1980, and to NNCNK in 1988. And when I would say it was because of the Shillong Accord of 1960. The presence of 16 tribes with different ideologies shows a clear divergence in our movement in a political movement. The public uprising of 25 August 2013 is a clear indication to show that there is an unhealthy partisanship and which is diverging the movements through nature. I am happy that one of my friends has talked about the FNL. The Foreign Court of Reconciliation was formed in the year 2008 with one of our judges, Reverend Dr. Hr as one of the founding components. According to the headline and article on 3rd August, 27 August 2011, headline, I quote, 6 top leaders forms high-level committee for one Naga national government. Sadly, the Naga component and the Lenten agreement never saw the light of the day. Instead, they went ahead and signed 2 separate agreements. One, the framework agreement on 3rd August 2015, and second, the agreed position on 17 November 2017. Nagas have always disagreed about the ways and means on how to get to our goal, but not the goal itself. Now, it is different. We have taken a paradigm shift. The way that some Naga groups are identifying relating with the government of India. It has a name. It is called Stockholm Syndrome, where the abusers sometimes identify with the abusers. My dear friends, we are in the process of seeing so many Nagas being the foot soldiers of the government of India themselves. I would like to quote, when the initial talk started between the NNC and IM, there was 3 major points. One point, political dialogue would be had at the highest level. Second point, without preconditions. And the third point, outside India. Some few talks were had outside India, but later on it got relegated to the talks with Indian intelligence agencies and in Dimapur and Purnima. Professor Paul Binomo in a webinar observed that the government of India has categorically set up a deadline for talks which is unhealthy. George J. Walters, in his book, wrote, "In the Shadows of Insurgency, Crime, State and Violence in Northeast India," writes that the government of India, instead of using force, they have used a policy of seduction, which many of our people have succumbed to. My dear friends, as our uncle writes, India brought the carrot and stick to the Nagas. Nagas have learned to tolerate the stick, but we would politically succumbed to the carrot. Thank you.
I am Sued Khalid Noman, representing from the Morung Students Union Dimapur. I will be speaking against the motion. As we have already known the topic, an unhealthy paradigm shift in the history of Naga Political Movement has emerged in today's age. It's diverging the movement through nature. What I want to focus on this topic is that it's diverging the movement through nature. I would strongly agree that, because when we look into it, let's all remember what our Naga political movement, how it has been started and with what objective and aim it has been formed, so that we Nagas, we the people, can have a step, can have a one flag, one constitution. We all know that our leaders are aiming at them, having a conflict with the government of India few days today, that it has not been resolved. And yes, the political movement, it has been a fractionalism, and division has been kept out. We all know that is the fact, we can't agree it. But what I want you to realize is that we living in a democratic world where every individual, every people have their own ideology, have their own thinking, have their own ambition and all. So we cannot stop or we cannot block them to not or raise their voice. So what I want to say is that every movement, every political movement, whether it be in our Naga society or it be in our nation or the world, every movement or organization has been come out from one party to different parties. So, and then one thing I want to say is that even though if different parties emerge, but what we have to keep in mind is that our vision, our objective is one, and we cannot let that or forget that. And what my fellow participants have said that short-sighted, they do not know what the future. I strongly disagree with that because no one knows the future. No one knows what tomorrow will happen. And our political leaders have been fighting till date so that we can achieve those objectives. We can achieve those things which we have demanded to the government of India. And I hope and pray that one day, this conflict will come to an end peacefully. And then, how can we call our political leaders greedy for money and power when they are the one fighting for us, when they are the one going against those who are not willing to fulfill our demands? How can we point them? How can we discourage them? Instead, I would like to say that encourage our leaders, support us, because we say that we Naga are one, but let's see, are we actually one? Are we standing in unity? We have to look upon that. So, what I want to say is that we Nagas, let's come all together and with a particular objective and demand, let's stand firm with our objectives and let's not be shaken. Let's not move from here and there. And then, why are we fighting? Why are we having conflicts within ourselves? Instead, we must be having a strong affirmation that we will overcome our demands one day. Why are we opposing, or why are we putting a gun on one's head instead of why don't we stand together as Naga and achieve our objective? I know many have said that it has been the resolution, it has been taking a lot of time. Yes, we know it's been taking a lot of time, but what I want you to know is that for every good thing to happen, it takes time. We know that. Nothing comes just, if we demand one thing, nothing comes by tomorrow. It takes time, and this is our Naga demand to our government of India. It's a conflict which has been going up for many years, and I hope and I say to everyone present here that we Nagas, all our Nagas are present here. So inside our head, inside our mind, inside our heart, let's see. There is love for your people. There is love for your identity. There is love for the national political movement. Regardless of whatever the conflict or the discouragement we are facing on, but still we have the love for our Naga people. So let's stand together, let's be united again and not divided, but let's pray and hope to achieve those demands and those objectives of our Naga political movement. And with that, I would like to conclude my statement. Thank you.
First of all, Naga did not ask for independence. We are claiming what was rightfully ours from the beginning. We are on in today's society. But first of all, let me ask the question to all of you present here. How many of you knows the history, the deep history of our Nagas? I'm sure students here, you have been studying the history of the Nagas, but I was also a student and I learned about the history only during our class 9 and 10. If I'm not wrong, we study only the surface, we do not go in depth. How many of you here knows the true Naga history? Can you show me by the raise of hand? The paradigm shift that I want to talk about is our education system. From class 1 to class 10, we study about the external. We study only on the outside of our Nagas. But no such topic has been inculcated since our childhood. We hear from our ancestors the folk airs, the songs, but we do not have the right, we are not guided in the right path from our childhood. Our leaders who represent us are becoming so selfless. They are not working with honesty and are not keeping the spirit of nationalism. If we get back to history, we know, and they have spoken on the movement of NNC and how they got separated into NSC and IMNK. Because their ideology has changed over time. The ideology has changed from getting from our demand to get a sovereignty to mixed sovereignty, shared sovereignty. One paradigm shift that is unhealthy is the tribalism. We Nagas, we all came from one ancestor, but today, in present age, we are only focused on my tribe and your tribe. We have to come together and work together for one goal, that is to get sovereignty. Even after independence, we are fighting for our sovereignty. Why? Why is the process taking so long? The government of India have taken this issue very lightly, and they have taken it as a law and order and other problem. It has been taken as a problem. We are so comfortable with the outside forces that we do not want to fight for what is ours, rightfully ours. Let the people's voice be the voice of Nagaland. Let not the efforts and sacrifices of our leaders go in vain. Our forefathers have shed the blood, tears, and sweat for all of us to come together and get sovereignty. And I want to ask my worthy opponent that peace and harmony has been prevailing in our state. Yes, peace and harmony has been prevailing in our state. But what about the recent Oting massacre? So many people have given their life for independence. But what about the struggles? Why are we not acknowledging it? Why are we not acknowledging their struggles, and why do we want to leave it at that? It is known that a family once divided cannot be united. This is a call for all people from different tribes and fight for our cause, that is the sovereignty. If we do not come together as one, keep aside our tribalism, we can never get sovereignty. In order to make it a complete solution, we have to come together as one. And even the performance that was given by our sister, she's had her words were the struggles we're facing. It's worth the climb. It's not about how fast we get, but it's worth the climb. So I believe and I strongly have faith that coming together as one is the only solution to Nali.
Excuse me, I'm a very proud Naga. Honorable Presiding Officer of the House, PR Keeper, esteemed panel of judges, my worthy opponents, Honorable President of Naga Students Federation, Dimapur Naga Students Union, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dimapur, representing the Dimapur Naga Students Union, speaking against the motion. Well, I remember the words of Hippocrates, and I quote, "Drastic times call for drastic measures." One such drastic moment in the Naga political movement comes to mind. And yes, I'm talking about the signing of the 16-point agreement by the Naga People's Convention in the year 1960. Now you may characterize it whichever way you want, however way you want. You cannot deny the fact that that agreement in fact did us do something. It helped us, and I emphasize this word, the indiscriminate killings, the rapes and the murders that have already been mentioned. And it gave us a semblance of peace. It gave us the state that today we proudly call Nagaland. More importantly, and I dare say, it also helped in streamlining our Naga political movement. What began on 10 January 1929, submission of a memorandum to the Simon Commission, essentially demanding to be free. And the word they couldn't have said, it's not about independence. Why? If it's not about independence, the whole struggle does not make any sense. We were free from the beginning, and that's exactly what we are demanding today. The crux of the matter is independence. Now, demanding to be free, essentially demanding to be free, the signing of the framework agreement on 3rd August of 2015, or for that matter, the agreed position on 17th November of 2017. We cannot deny the fact that the Naga political movement has grown from strength to strength, and we have come a long way. Let me give you an example. Yesterday, we were hiding in the jungles, fearing for our lives. We were afraid to go out of our own homes. But today, we are able to sit in the same room, at the same table, with any high-ranking Indian government official representative, or for that matter, the Honorable Prime Minister himself, and we are able to intellectually, effectively articulate our demands and the solutions we want. From a firing gun to a writing pen, from a bullet to an ink, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the paradigm shift we are talking about, and it's up to you whether you decide that's healthy or unhealthy. I was hoping my working opponents will bring up the issue of independence in a more proactive way, but since they didn't mention it, independence, let me talk about it. When our honorable leaders and fathers declared the Naga independence on 14th of August 1947, we must remember and understand the geopolitics prevailing at that time in history. With the withdrawal of the British imperialist forces, the entire of the Indian subcontinent and Asia was undergoing a heavy, dramatic geopolitical shift. New nations were coming into birth. The wave of nationalism was spreading across the entire continent. And at that point in history, when our fathers and our honorable leaders declared independence, it was not only legitimate, it was reasonable, it was logical, and to some extent, it was also very possible. Not much less so today, because the geopolitics of yesterday and today are worlds apart. Good luck talking about integration. I wish you the best of luck negotiating with the state of Assam, Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh, or for that matter, even the nation of Myanmar. We have to evolve with time, and that's exactly what the Naga political movement is undergoing. The nature has evolved, and it has become a dynamic movement. It's no more a static movement. Our demands must be realistic. Our demands must be based on the geopolitical realities prevailing at the present time, not just based on historical records. And by the way, it's so difficult to correct historical errors unless you go back in time in history. Our demands must evolve. Our demands must evolve to meet the new problems, new challenges. The government of India says, one problem, one solution. For us, Nagas, new problems, new solutions. And besides, I don't want an independent, geographically and politically independent Nagaland, but not independent of tribalism, corruption, and nepotism. My word of opinion has said tribalism. Tribalism has nothing to do with Naga political movement. Tribalism is a social problem, it's not a political problem. Now we talk about illegal taxation. Some of my friends have said that due to illegal taxation, some of our national workers have become rich and they are building their own empire. We all pay self tax. In fact, there was a time in history when we were contributing freely towards the national cost. What happened to us today? Taxation, illegal taxation is not a Naga political problem. It did not evolve because of that. It's a governance and a policing problem. It can be dealt with the strict rule of the law. It has nothing to do with Naga political problem. And besides, when we talk about when we talk about taxation, there are always some fringe elements in a mass movement. Because of the few fringe elements, we cannot say that the entire body is sick, that the entire movement has been unhealthy, that it has been discredited. Even in a holy setting like a church, you will always find some members who are going astray. How much more in a mass political movement like another political movement? And when we talk about taxation, like that has become the scapegoat for everything that has gone wrong in Nagaland, right? How convenient. No, inflation, become another taxation. Lack of Naga entrepreneurs, become another taxation. No roads, no hospitals, no infrastructures, become another taxation. Let me ask you, what about Bahama corruption? What about the rampant factor employment that is destroying the future of many potential youth who may give right, who give birth to many angry young men, who you may find collecting the illegal tax, so-called illegal tax tomorrow. Our social problems is giving rise to many anti-social elements, and it has nothing to do with the Naga political problem. There are two problems that we are facing today. That is a social problem and a political problem, and I submit to you that our political problem is safe, it's in good hands, and it is heading in the right direction. 25 years, come on now, 25 years. Very young comparatively. Talk about Indian independence, 200 years, and because we love to put the Bible, 420 years for the people of Israel to reach the promised land. 25 years, and we are at the threshold of the final solution. We Nagas, as a nation, we have to be very careful. Even when we talk about division and factionalism, that's a product of disagreement, and disagreement is good for a healthy discourse. Disagreement is good for a nation. We cannot afford to make another mistake. And if those voices come in the form of factionalism and division and NGOs or CSOs or individuals, those voices must also be considered because we are all stakeholders in this Naga political movement. I submit to you that the Naga political movement is heading in the right direction. It's a safe hands. Good night.
It's actually really getting hot in here, and fellow participant after we call this as ER in our language, that traditional rounding. You made me nervous better, but thank you. You have given some really valid points, and I'm really glad to be. First of all, thank you, moderator, and we've given the subject here, representatives from different CSOs, our panel of judges, and my fellow participants. I'm really grateful to God for giving me this day. We have been stressing on the issue of the shift in the history of Naga movement. I would like to focus on this particular word, history. History is today. Today itself is history in the making. So I consider this day as a very significant day in Naga history when students have came together to talk about the Naga issue in openness and in oneness. So I'm really grateful to the organizers of this event as well. I'll be focusing on the some strategic points, and some will be emotionally driven. I'd like to mention one thing that our Rima brother has just pointed out. The tribalism is a social problem, is what he has stated. I'd like to differ. Social problem has been made political. Social problem has been made political in our Naga society. The best example is
different group of tribal bodies having different opinions. That is one example that we as a Naga community can never deny that as the tribe starts to differ, the opinion starts to differ as well. That is the first thing that I'd like to say. On the topic, I'll first like to stress on division. Now, division itself in the Naga family started when we were divided into different states, divided by borders. Today, I will not be standing here sugarcoating my words. I'll be speaking harsh things. I might hurt some people's sentiment, but I think this will be a testimony of me being truthful before the One Almighty. And I'll be able to testify him one day when I meet him that I spoke the truth, God. It has been a quarter of a century after the first ceasefire agreement was signed. A quarter of a century was gone after the first agreement was signed. But still to this day, there has not been a solid and tangible solution. Now, the reason that I would like to blame why we have not come under one solution is the rigidity of which both the sides have approached the peace process. And the second thing would be, there are too many stakeholders in the Naga political issue. I'm really sorry. There are just too many stakeholders. We, as a tribe, just for the sake in the context of Dimapur itself, there are over 100 plus unions. I don't know, I think maybe 10 of these unions are also stakeholders in the Naga political issue right now. We are confusing ourselves with the number of unions and organizations that are coming up. The very base fact of Nagas being one, as one tribe, as one people, cannot be put into practice, cannot be accomplished until we have groups of tribes turning more into like gangs at war with each other. I would also like to state the politics that has been played with people's sentiment in regard to the Naga political issue. Numerous agreements has been signed in the past century between the government of India and the Naga national political groups. And also, framework agreement has been signed. It was more of a rabbit out of the bag thing, I'd say, but still we haven't gotten anything. I would like to stress on how we can progress as a community on solving this, on sorting out this Naga solution. I'm not saying that my opinions are going to solve the Naga political issue, no, but it is just my opinion. The first thing would be negotiating should be kept away from the public gaze. It is because the height of peace is around the corner. That is how political parties play politics with their sentiments. The height of peace is around the corner, and then the public quarrel has been on rise since 2015 after the framework agreement was signed. 2015 framework agreement was supposed to nurture brotherhood among the Naga family, but it has given birth to hatred among us. One of the best examples that we can know is by looking at social media. Social media is filled with hatred. This is not about brotherhood, I'm telling you. This is not about brotherhood. We have been talking about brotherhood. I'm really sorry. Today is the time, and we have the last chance. This is our last move. One wrong move. This is not about brotherhood. You will be answerable to your children. And I'm telling you, you are going to carry the curse of your children. We should stand firm against the pressure tactics to secure a quick fix. Pressure for pressure. We are in negotiation with the government of India. The government of India is playing its own politics, dividing us, dividing the
Naga political parties as well, dividing the communities as well. I as a Tenime, my Tenime people have different ideology when compared to CNPC. Let me be just honest. I guess no one will disagree with me. Now the last thing, sorry. It is important not to drag the negotiations too excessively, and there should be priority on studying and working aspects on the autonomy of Naga area and Pan-Naga Poli. Now, when it comes to the movement of flag and constitution, I believe it should be kept until the end. We will have to work out the possibilities, and the one major thing that every one of us can play together as Nagas is that the confidence building measures we can take for each other as interventions in delicate scenarios that we face when we have disagreements among each other. So we should work as a confidence building measure, and that should be an intervention when it comes to delicate situation and delicate issues within our community. The last, I'd like to end with one last saying, and is that Naga issue is not confined within only one state. Let us be clear with that. The Naga movement started without borders. The Naga movement started without differentiating in tribes. So I want to remind every one of you, if you are a Naga, stand as a Naga. If you cannot accept your brothers, don't call yourself a Naga. Thank you. God bless you.
I am Jansatam Siovan, and I will be representing DNSU. I am a proud Lota, but firstly I am a Naga. So I would say something that will offend someone. Neither do I have any political aspirations. Neither would I force my political opinions onto you. But I am here representing the common people of Nagaland, the ones who are suffering. I would like to express my frustration as a common Naga. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of the debate, firstly I would like to clear the air surrounding the topic. The topic in itself is a conundrum, as in, it is somewhat a paradox, the stagnant and unhealthy paradigm shift. What actually is a paradigm shift? It is a word with depth and heft. It has varied meanings. It has layers to it. But if we boil it down to it, if we water it down, the watered down meaning is substantial and fundamental change. So what do you mean by unhealthy? When you say unhealthy, you mean via mindset, unhealthy mindset, meaning harmful mindset, meaning a detrimental mindset, or a detrimental society, or a nonsensical society. So if we combine the words together, a detrimental, a harmful, yet positive, yet substantial and fundamental change, it does not work. It in itself is a paradox. Now let's talk about what is unhealthy. I would rather say that the unhealthy thing is the Naga society. Unhealthy corruption, unhealthy backdoor appointments, unhealthy betrayals of the politicians. These are the things that are unhealthy. The unhealthy part has a lot to do with the Naga society and the mindset of the Naga people than the Naga movement itself. We can say that, I can say that. No Naga politicians or Naga politicians are not corrupt because the Naga movement is corrupting the politicians. I can't say that. But what I can say is that the corrupt Naga politicians is helping the movement of the Naga solution. Let me get back to the point of a paradox. Why exactly it is a paradox? It is self-contradictory, the statement itself. It is self-contradictory, and there is very little scope of research. I would like to challenge my fellow debaters to give me an example of a change that is unhealthy, harmful, yet it is positive, substantial, and fundamental. We can't. In history, there has not been a change that has been so specific, that has been, like, it is a very specific paradox. I would like to get that a paradigm shift is a drastic change. I'll give you an example. There was a bill called C-16 in Canada that was in support of the gay movement, the LGBT community. So they had the right to criminalize someone and identify them with their direct pronouns. They use pronouns like them and they. If they didn't identify them as him or they can be criminalized for that. So the change is positive. The thought is positive, but in a way it is violating human rights. Nobody can dictate language. Nobody can tell someone to speak like that, to talk like that without violating human rights. That is the point. That is why the changes are drastic. Why the changes are so drastic is because that people are not thinking about it. People are not thinking about the one who have done the research knows about it, but the common people, they don't have the idea about it. They don't know. It's a surprise for them. So in that way, we can prove that the paradigm shift is not taking place or has not taken place. The paradigm shift will be, in a way, we can say that the paradigm shift will be when Naga or the Naga solution has been achieved. That will be the paradigm shift. And then we can say that whether it is unhealthy or healthy, with the result of it. And the next point is, I would like to divide the points. Diverge from the true nature. As the true nature of the movement itself is dynamic. It is not constant. A political movement is never constant. It is dynamic. It changes. It involves. It requires subtractions and additions. It has to keep in mind the world that we are living in. So how can we say that we are diverging from the nature or the core motive, when the nature in itself is dynamic? It's dualistic in nature. And lastly, I would like to say that as Nagas, there was this Burma street. We don't know the name of it. We used to call it Lal Mihai, Elephant and We only identified it by the way they look, or by the way that they vested. Us Nagas, let the world know us. Let the world know us by our conviction, by the fact that we are sticking to this point for 25 years and we are not giving up. And we will not give up until we achieve it.
I will, I'm an minister for everything, and I will go directly to cut the storyline. I will go directly to them. So our topic is unhealthy. Why is unhealthy? I will directly specify what are the causes and the factors why our society is unhealthy paradigm. So the Naga, the origin. The Nagas, before the British partial colonialism in Naga Hill, we Nagas ourselves identified as by clans or by tribe. So the origin, the struggle origins, the conflict origins began as a living struggle for sovereignty and then right to self-determination with the formation of Naga in 1980. So it's kind of sense like nationalism is very sensitive because Nagas are made, not all Naga tribes in Naga, but many of these Nagas opening our eyes. So the Naga Club, who is the root, the first political platform for Naga movement, followed by NSC, and NSC played a significant role in this play, which because of Rebuttals as a result, I like the way his approach and his ideas about the sense of oneness. I think he is the only leadership travel all the Indians and Nigeria. That's the sense of oneness. But later why? Because of the different ideas, different opinions, Nagas were more fragmented even till today. So I would like to go directly to the causes and the factors why Nagas are our movement is unhealthy paradigm shift. Say even like our thinking, our behavior also like doing unhealthy. If you compare to the foundation of the Naga movement, the foundation was dynamic, strong. But right now, come on, I would like to say about the causes and the factors of Naga movement is mostly tribal dominance over other, and then power hustle, and then personality clashes, and then geographical differences, very important, and then personal loyalty. See, when it comes to tribalism, my friends say it's a political issue. I don't think so. One thing is that is the stumbling block, but to the way of unity. Very true. That's undeniable in our Naga society, because we prefer the tribal prefer the Nagachis over their tribe. So this is a very big important. This is a very big issue, challenging, because they always think their tribe interest or my tribe interest. That is something very distracting and stopping us. Actually, we Nagas are disabling ourselves. So I want to say about the tribalism is the root of stopping us or unity. And as I said, power hustle. Power, see, many undergrounds fall because of even maybe power. They want to lead, they want to serve, and then one thing is they want to control. See, most of the undergrounds, they have their own domains, geographical area. So I do not blame the underground alone, the UGs alone. I blame we Nagas. No, we support which Naga UGs dominate our area. See, we never think about oneness. That's a problem about the geographical factors also. In case like one particular underground group dominate particular district, that means even people's their mind, even their behaviors are like that. So I will not go. I will be coming back to the conclusion part. So compared to the 1960s and 50 and 60, the way is changed. See, those days is a mass movement. What is right now we are? We are now even ourselves confused. Are we interested in Naga political solution? Educated people think 1960 to 50 is a mass movement. Every community represents Naga armies. But now it's totally changed. And even the undergrounds, those area, people, we serve them. We serve them. I mean, they serve us, But right now, we are serving them. The difference is big. There's differences. Because that time, we gave what we have. But at present, they demand. So, there is very different treatment, demand, and now at the present. So, I would like to go for reconciliations and forgiveness is must. So, to go there, we the human beings are both imperfect and unperfectable. So what I want to say is, we can be smart people first, we can mistake, correct the mistake, and move forward faster and for solution. So I think we never miss that. And I want to say that by famous person, black vendor, the person who wants to change the entire world with the support of the black race movement. But he can't, because one day he said until he met his dad, he said, I think the world can be changed, but through Jesus' power. He said that we can be changed, Naga can be changed, and I think that is the only way of that is only through the power of Jesus. And then what I want to say, one thing about him is, about even that Black Panther. He said even though he said like in the time of crisis, wise people build rich, foolish build bad. So are we not foolish or wise? I think we should question ourselves, we should think about that ourselves. So I would like to conclude by saying that what we are now is negative peace. Negative and positive peace there. Naga's armies, Naga undergrounds, they never trust each other still. There is mistrust, calling each other, betrayal, sell out. So if they want to have a solution, I think all the Nagas use their head there. They all use the banner. Naga is not Christ. They should come to Christ's way. What is the Christ's way? John 14:6, he said, I'm the way, he's the way. He's the way, the truth, and the life. We talk about that. And if the underground, the Naga National Movement, is it leading us to the Jesus way or what way there? So to come for a solution is only the Jesus way that all the people, not only underground, but even the public, overground, everyone should be unified, everyone should be stand for one solution, and it should be common interest, it should be common goal. So that sends a real nationalism and that sends a real state. So that's what I want to say. Thank you very much.
Today I stand here again against the motion. So as the topic says, an unhealthy paradigm shift in the history of the Naga political movement has emerged in today's age, and it's diverging the movement's true nature. But I would like to question, is it an unhealthy paradigm shift? It is a paradigm shift, but like my fellow contestants also questioned that, I don't think this can be regarded as an unhealthy paradigm shift. There has been a paradigm shift which is gradual with time in any political movement, but we cannot say it is drastically changing the course and the true nature of this political movement. Everyone has stressed upon this, how the Naga political movement had started back in 1918 with the Naga Club being formed, and the 1929 submitting memorandum to the Simon Commission. I would not like to repeat and stress upon all these things, but now I would like to say that this was when the fight for our Naga political movement has started, and realizing the importance and uniqueness of the Naga, we are forming such different unions. Everyone is questioning why this union, but as a student, when I move out of my state to study anywhere in any state of India, I think it benefits us to our advantage, creating such unions and student bodies for us to come together in union and know the history of the Nagas and also be united as ever. I cannot generalize it because of one individual's ambitions or individual conflicts. We cannot generalize the Naga political movement as such. Human beings are in nature and psychologically different in their approaches, and that is what with the collective mindset and ideologies, we might be confused, but we cannot say that it is diverging our movement's true nature. Like one of my fellow brothers has said, is luxuriousness defining the change of ideology, or is it an unhealthy paradigm? Well, I would say that it is an individual's ambition, not a shift in the political movement. So there might be some leaders filling up their pockets for their personal ambitions and beliefs, but that not all national workers or political leaders, cutting out the political leaders, not all national leaders are rich, I would say, or living luxuriously like we have stated, because that would become a heresy, obviously. Or there might be a shift in the cultural and globalizing shift within this political diversion, but I cannot say this is a political shift. It is a change of shift in individuals' ideologies. And also one of you have mentioned that it is an educational paradigm shift. Thank you for stressing upon that. It stands in our favor, saying that it is an educational paradigm shift, not a political paradigm shift. Corruption is existing in every nook and corner of this society, so we cannot generalize this as the true movement or the true beliefs of our Naga brothers and sisters. A real revolution will always keep falling out and again. And we are questioning so much within ourselves why this tribalism or this factionism or this union has been there. But dear brothers and sisters, why are we so blinded? Actually, that is the motive of our adversity, and we are dancing to their tunes and and selling our rights for a temporary change, not a permanent solution. We are compromising our sovereign rights for a temporary change or a temporary development. If the sacrifices have been made, like everyone has stressed upon, given the motion, if your forefathers and my grandparents have sacrificed for this nation, then why are we compromising our sovereignty, saying that there is division within us? Division will have in any political setup. It is not only within the Naga political movement, but with that question, why are we wasting so much and wasting our energy so much into this politics? Tribalism and division is occurring. If we keep on wasting our energy and debating upon this, then where our energy and mindset would come to bring together a solution or a greater chance for this Naga living? I would like to say one thing. Nothing is more inalienable for a nation, big or small, than her sovereignty. No moment either is challenging for a people than a time when their existence is being challenged. And that is what this existence has been challenged, and that is why this commotion and confusion is being created within Nagas. Finally, I would like to conclude saying that the British did not divide us, contrary to what our Treasury bench has said. They united us instead and led us out of this darkness into a light. The way to take out every stakeholder, the way out is to take every stakeholder, be it either NSNI, NMPG, etc., or any union, into the talk, because a mistake at this juncture is going to be a big price for us Naga to pay for our solution. And lastly, I will conclude that there are many flowers or fruits in a tree, but the root remains the same. I would like to stress that all our goals and motives is the same. So, likewise, there may be tribal divisions and factionalism in any political union body coming up, but that does not change our roots and what we are as a Naga.
As we have heard enough on an individual capacity and also the question and round, which also determines your scoreboard, the rebuttal session is the scoreboard for your team as well. So please bear in mind, you have a time bound of only 2 minutes to give your case as you listen on the other side. You also listen on the motion side. So may I start with the motion and who will be your representative? Alright. So the representative from the motion side for the rebuttal session is Mr. Rugewazo Watson from the Chakasang Students Union, Dimapur. Can we all give a round of applause for him for the session?
First of all, I must empathize with the opposition bench for the extremely difficult topic that has been given to you. I understand your difficulties in presenting something which clearly doesn't believe in. So, okay, going to the point. The point number one, you will say that political movement is dynamic. We agree that the political movement is dynamic. But we also affirm that, because of the statement, we also affirm that there is a negative paradigm shift. Even if one is blind, we can see that it is an unhealthy dynamic going on. Number two, our leaders are not greedy. It is the tax and illegal taxations that is one of the key factors standing in the way of our modernity. Number three, our political movement is headed towards the right direction. No, my friends, because of the divide and rule policy of the government of India, we see two groups as fortune superiority over their signed agreements. So yes, it is definitely heading in the wrong direction. Is it really, number four, is it really an unhealthy paradigm shift by esteemed opposition bench members? Of course, it is an unhealthy paradigm shift. On one side, you have the overground civil societies divided and in shambles. On the other hand, the underground groups with different ideologies. Naga society is more divided now than ever. But of course, we have hope that all the members here together will work towards a unified and better living.
And may I know for the against the motion who is a representative? Can you please? We have Mr. Manimo upon the Dimapur Naga Students Union.
With due respect, as I was saying through this debate, I feel like my worthy opponents can directly speak rather than debate on the topic that has been given to us. In the first place, when you talk about illegal taxation, like I said earlier, conveniently we have shifted everything that is going on in Naga society to this illegal taxation. As I said earlier, I reiterate that's a governance and a policy problem and can be dealt with the strict hand of the law. Now, when we talk about peaceful solution, that's an utter disrespect for Naga intellectuals. We have enough intellectuals, we have enough citizens who are concerned. Every voice that is coming out speaking for Naga solution is for the good of the Nagas. If a solution is honorable and conducive for our protestant people, I say we go for it. Because we have been waiting for too long, and 25 years in this modern world to solve a 75-year-old problem, I think it's about time. And my worthy opponents have also said that it's an education problem and that we don't have historical resources. Well, just go to the bookstore, get a book on any Naga institution or Naga political movement and read it. I submit to you that if we keep on prolonging this Naga solution issue, this Naga political talk, we will have a generation that knows nothing about Naga culture, that knows nothing about the sacrifices that our fathers have made, and that will be when the unhealthy paradigm shift occur, and then we'll have to take up arms against our own brothers and our own sisters. Now when we talk about division in the society, they say that Shillong Accord divided Nagas. That division came about because we were thinking, and we were thinking for the good of the Nagas. The Shillong Accord was specifically a charter of slavery. That's the reason why the NSCMIM had to break away, and that kind of cool, isn't it? Division in a democratic society is always healthy, and it can give birth to. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the presentation for the
discussion that took place. It was very refreshing for a person like me, because we need to know the minds of the younger generation, and I think a lot has been expressed. The only question I had in mind as our debaters discussed was whether they were really convinced, or whether they are speaking in favor of the motion or against the motion. Are they talking because it is a debate, or are they speaking from the core of the heart? That only they can answer. That is the core issue that is challenging our society. From what I could see was, all the debaters came well prepared. They studied the background of the Naga struggle properly. All of them had their own very good references. But it is also true that the topic itself provided a lot of temptations and opportunities even to contradict the speaker themselves. So even those who are speaking in favor of the motion unknowingly or unconsciously are speaking against the motion, and those who are speaking against the motion were also stopping in favor of the motion. But there is the complexity that our society is facing. So there is no regret for that. These are challenges that we need to address. It is also equally true that both for and against were having frustrations, like in other topic, about the divisions and splits. You call it factions, whatever terms, whatever. I think it was very clear from both groups that it's a testimony for us to tolerate this division in our society, whether it is overground and underground. And it has very clearly come out from the discussion that we face. And there is a clear need on the part of the Naga community, especially the political leaders who profess to fight and champion for the cause of the Naga people. whether they're in negotiation with government of India or not. But they have not done their homework, they have not educated their people, they have not created awareness to the core issue confronting our people and why our people are suffering for all these 7, 8 decades. Because today's generation are caught in a quagmire situation. You don't know which way to turn, but you are compelled to turn where it is convenient for the place where you go. So a lot of awareness and education need to be done by elders, leaders of the Naga society, where the representative population are failing. But I could also see from the discussion that all the deputies presented, that whether he or she was in favor of the motion or against the motion, the commitment, the fear, the concern for the Naga issue, the Naga post, is very clear. Nobody wants to lose their dignity, and we are very clear that Naga post, the issue is very clear to all of us, and that it cannot be burdened away for some silly political days. That is found very clear. This also goes to say, at the end of my explanation, that whether it is the government of India or the Naga people who are negotiating with the government of India on behalf of the Nagas should not take the present Naga generation for granted. And they will take the present Naga generation for granted, thinking that we do not know our history. But then now, information is at the click of a finger. You don't even need books. You don't even need to go to authors and writers. You can find information in the tip of the finger. So today's Naga elders should not take the Naga youth for granted, and if government of India think that they can subdue the Naga leaders, the present Naga leaders, into submission, they have to think 2 or 3 times more. Because the present Naga generation are not just going to give up for the sake of political convenience. And I think we are ready to take up responsibility. And that is what is the most important thing. Thank you so much.
Listening to 12 of them, 6 against and 6 for the motion. I'll tell you, you have given me a lot of good ideas. That's very positive. In other words, I am learning from the young ones like you. Thank you very much for informing me with facts and the way you have presented the entire debate. I'm not going to go around outside of the debate per se, but focusing on the debate, I think the general, by and large, all 12 of you, the way you came out presenting, you are very intentional. You knew what you wanted to say, that without any kind of hesitation, was so evident, and that's a plus point for the debate. The second thing is the arguments that you brought. Arguments must be based on facts, and a lot of you, most of you, I would say, have brought your argument not for the sake of rationalization or justification, but based on historical facts, historical materials. That's also a plus thing. When I see young people like you talking things, there is a natural aptitude, a natural ability on the part of any of our young people in the scholastic community that you are able to converse, able to talk without much effort, without much hesitation, and again, it's a plus. You must know that when you speak, your body language is very important. How you start, how you look at people, the way you come out, your eye contact, the way you look at people, eye contact, gesture, whether you agree or whether you are a little bit frustrated, with all sorts. Therefore, your body language, your eye contact is very important, and keep it up. I have nothing to say more except to say thank you for being someone who is also, in the verge of becoming, and we elderly people learn from you. Thank you very much. It would have been very good if any one of you, either for the against or the motion, would have defined what this paradigm shift is. Paradigm shift is a term. It's a term used in political science, it's used in history, it's used in theology, it's used in many other disciplines. So, what is this paradigm shift? That would have been nice if again for the motion would have defined what is paradigm shift is. Paradigm is actually an example, a model. It's always on the positive side. So what kind of a positive shift or unhealthy shift, what is that? If you could define in context, if you could do better. So thank you once again. God bless you.
It is said that when US was engaged with Vietnam, during the Vietnam invasion, since US is a very powerful country, it is very difficult for the Vietnamese to defeat the United States. So there was a debate in Washington University, and how the US was defeated in the University of Washington. The Vietnamese defeated the US in the University of Washington in a debate. Now we have come to a stage in Naga Political Movement. I'm so happy to see young friends talking so warmly, and I'm aware many of you have come prepared, but from your presentation, we could also observe that there was some spontaneity on your thought process of the concern that you have for the Naga Political Movement. This is one positive sign that we have observed today. As far as the technicality is concerned, we are not an expert on that, how you have to behave, how you have to observe, a little bit of explanation mentioned by our former speaker. But the presence of mind is important. In my observation, many of you seem to be came with a fixed mind. You will not very carefully listening to the other argument being proposed by the other group. So that's how I think on this aspect, a little improvement is required. Definitely you will do well in the next program. This issue has become very complex for all of us as far as this generation is concerned. But in any case, we cannot leave it to others to shoulder our responsibility. It is our responsibility as young intellectuals now to carry forward what I mentioned about the University of Washington based on the U.S. intellectual data. Now, this issue will be debated like this in the intellectual forum. The Naga issue, the carrying of AK-47 is relevant after 10, 20 years from now. How do we fight this issue? We have not achieved our goal. Who are we to leave this responsibility? Unless we take up that responsibility, tomorrow we may be engaged with a debate with some friend from India, and they on the Naga Political. How are you to engage with them? They will expect you to present the Naga issue from the beginning till the end. Now, if we misrepresent our political issue, it will be at the cost of our respect and at the cost of our people. And therefore, it is time for the young intellectuals that we equip ourselves how this issue has started and how we must end honorably for the cause of all of us. I must remind the House today that this political movement, the Naga political issue, started for the entire Naga family, irrespective of the geographical, irrespective of the artificial geographical boundary that has divided the Naga people. Our one and only goal is to bring the Naga people together under one administrative rule as a sovereign Naga nation. And therefore, our thinking process should not be narrow, shallow. In no way we should think that Nagas only live in the so-called Nagas of Nagaland, or in the so-called Nagas of Manipur, Nagas of Assam, Nagas of Arunachal, or Nagas of Burma. Our forefathers, although having a very less degree, has envisioned for all of us that we must have a nation overall, and we are capable of building that nation. Therefore, I would like to encourage the young people today that we must, from now on, have to have clarity on this Naga political issue and meet our Naga people towards that direction. Last week, I would like to refer to what I pray that the Naga Students Union President has mentioned about the social media. He was mentioning about the misuse of the social media. Either you call it Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever terms you use. I think this we have been using for a negative purpose only at the moment, and especially on the Naga community. I think it is time for us that how to use that for the maximum advantage of heading forward in Naga community. With this, I would like to congratulate both the team. None of you are losers. It's just that we have to select the best amongst you who have presented to otherwise you all and articulate it so well. And there is a room for improvement from all of you. Thank you and good night.
Best performer team. Who do you think it has gone to? Ladies and gentlemen, it's against the motion. May I request Reverend Dr. Wati Hr, convener of FML, to kindly come and give away the best performing team against the motion for the best prize. Can we have the group photograph? Can I request the team to please come and take the group photograph? A group photograph with our judge? Yes. Please accept the certificates, and if there's a shuffle, then we will Can we have a group photograph, please, and you can exchange your certificates later? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for the best team and group photograph. They have been blinding and the best. Can we have a group photograph for Dr. Wati, please, and the team? Thank you very much. The best speaker against the motion, Mr. Dimapur Walling from Hr Students Union, Dimapur. May I request in order to recommend and kindly give away the prize. Let the claps come in. That we have our photographs together. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dimapur Walling. And for the best speaker for the motion, any guesses? Any guesses? Mr. Bethesda Hr Students Union. And we have him on stage. Mr. clap should continue, my dear friends.